Do men actually like straightforwardness from women? Just start talking to them. After at least a minute of conversation, you can say you want to see them again. You can make your intentions clear around this time. It was unusual to make it the first thing out of your mouth. You have to build up to it a little. Straightforwardness is good, but your timing wasn't. He probably thought you were pranking him. If a girl ever did that to me, I would absolutely assume it was a trick or scam. You probably shocked him tbh, and he might have been thinking, am I getting tricked or made fun of? For YouTube? Or, is she just doing this because her friends told her to? Since it's super rare a woman genuinely compliments a man, let alone asks him on a date, for their number out of nowhere. You might have come on too strong. I mean, you were a complete stranger. So that for one is unusual. And then there's the fact that this happens to literally no man ever. So you caught him so absolutely by surprise he had no idea what to do. Likely wasn't in the coffee shop for that purpose either. He might have just not been one who was comfortable with that. Try this with someone you personally know, rather than a stranger. A safer bet that way. I mean, how would you react if some random guy pulled this with you out of nowhere? Edit. Oh, and he turned to say, wait. But then still decided not to go for it. Likely thought it was a trap of some sort. Or another deception. If a girl did this to me and I was still single, I would 100% exchange numbers. Most men like straightforwardness once we get to know the woman. You might have been a little too forward and just caught him off guard. I would look for him again if he is a regular. That shouldn't be too hard. Approach him and ease into the conversation. Explain that you were just trying to meet him and were uncomfortable with it, so you came on a little strong. If he is open, then he will understand and you can move forward at a comfortable pace. I think most people like it. But if he'd like my number. This guy legit froze and just looked at me and didn't say anything. Statistically, that basically never happens. So even if he liked it, it's not surprising he was caught off guard and didn't know what to do. Can I get advice on how to approach men? I think what you did was fine. Just have some patience and be able to carry the conversation a bit. Most men will never have been asked out. Ever. Or at most once. It's probably never something they ever even spent time considering on what to do. I think it might have just caught him off guard. They're used to having to be the one to make the first move. Not that you should have to. But chatting for a minute first, like another Redditor suggested, might help. Or following it up with something like asking if he'd like to grab a coffee or something sometime. So that he has an opening to give an answer. And then you can leave your number or email or whatever and see what happens. Some people are comfortable to have a casual conversation and some don't. You found the wrong guy. Pretty much there are many people who will accept you and willing to start a conversation with you. Good luck. I think this possibly failed because he was completely confused. I would probably be as well, because imagine someone came up and says, "You're amazing and I'd like to give you £100,000, you'd be stood there thinking WTF is happening. He was probably completely lost because this has never happened before. I'd go for it, but maybe just ask if he wants coffee just like that, then ask if he wants to go out. Sometimes on a date. Use the word date though, otherwise I'd assume it was like a friend thing. It's just extremely confusing because it never ever happens. Yes. But in this situation, it probably would have been better to start up conversation first, in my opinion. Straightforwardness is best used after you have already interacted with someone and gotten to know them a bit. I would be starstruck and might think she's pranking me. Conversation first would definitely help. Kinda, but we have so little stuff going for us that we will think it's a prank. I personally like women to be straightforward, but I feel like I'm in the minority on that. If a lady came up to me and did the same, I'd be over the moon. I generally agree with the comments. I like straightforwardness in women, but I would not expect a woman to be so upfront as I won't tell if you don't. And like the OP's subject, would likely not be able to respond coherently immediately, or would be suspicious that I was the subject of a prank, as happened when I was in high school. Heck, I'm still wondering more than 40 years later what Allison, a pretty girl who once stood behind my chair in computer class as if she wanted something, and who I ignored because of those prior pranks, wanted. Edit. Not 40. 37 years. P. More than almost anything else. Use humor to pitch that honesty and you're the one. It's contextual though. For EGW. T what's on their mind or bothering them. I'd like a straightforward answer, as that would help with working towards the solution. However, I can totally understand why guys would be taken aback by an expression of interest like you did. It's jarring because we never expect it, so it shocks the system. Once we can calibrate, depending on the information, we might respond differently, which would explain the reaction of the dude. Side note, I wish I had your confidence. You did good. He did not. Yes, at least I do. But your date attack was maybe a bit too aggressive. Next time ask if you can join him and try to talk a bit before asking him for a date.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.